It said, laboratory. We went inside. There were several rows of large tanks in long rows. Some of them were broken. One of the tanks held our new hunter. A creature with 4 arms and 2 legs, a skeleton-like face with shark-like teeth and a long, thick tail. We were being held captive. We could only count the moments remaining until death. Bubbles in the liquid inside the tank moved upwards. He was in a state of stillness. We looked at our weapons. Fear and despair against such a creature were taking root in our being. The other tanks contained baby hunters and other strange creatures. Suddenly Elizabeth was thrown in the other direction with a scream. Before I could understand what had happened, I also received a heavy and shocking blow. I hit the wall hard. My body was screaming in pain. The gun fell from my hand. I was holding my breath and wouldn't come up. I let out my breath with all my might. I couldn't move because of the pain. I turned my head around to find Elizabeth, but I couldn't see her. I shouted, Elizabeth, Elizabeth. I untied the radio from my waist and said, help, we're in the lab. We're being attacked. It's very dangerous and she could hide. Damn it. I grabbed the wall to get back on my feet. I heard Elizabeth scream. I had to move. The best gun was a Magnum. I took it out of my backpack. I moved as fast as I could. Elizabeth's scream this time was louder and more sustained and turned into a scream. She was screaming, my God. Help me. Help. Damn it. I saw a scene I shouldn't have seen. The monster had grabbed Elizabeth's arms and legs with its hands and spread them apart. It wanted to tear her in two. I gathered my courage and shouted, let go of her, damn it. The monster turned its head towards me. Its mouth opened into a smile and it let out a muffled roar. Elizabeth tried to free herself from the pain in his hands. There was a sound of something breaking and Elizabeth let out a terrible scream. The monster was tearing her to pieces. I aimed at it and started shooting one after another. The monster released Elizabeth and she fell hard to the ground. I shouted, Elizabeth, damn you, damn you. He disappeared. I heard his roar from above me. He was on the ceiling. I pulled the trigger. The gun clicked and did not fire. I had fired all the bullets. I had hit him. Blood was dripping from his body onto the ground. It was still alive. It jumped towards me. I fell to the ground with its claw. The sound of gunfire echoed in the air. The monster fell to the ground next to me. It was still breathing. I said, kill this bastard. They shot him. John came to me and said, are you okay? Where is Elizabeth? I'm alive. Help her, damn it. God forbid it's too late, she's across the hall. Sarah stayed with me and the others went to help Elizabeth. John put his face in front of Elizabeth's nose. She was still breathing. He tried to lift her up when she let out a short scream in pain. Jill said, what the hell is this? I said quietly, there's one of their pots in that tank. Seeing her, Joseph said, my God. What did they do wrong here? I got up with Sarah's help. Elizabeth was unconscious in John's arms. John said, we have to get out of this hell. Harry said, the sooner the better. Stefan took my backpack and weapons. Jill said, we have to destroy this place. They attached bombs to the tanks that had a creature in them. We got out of there and took shelter in one of the corridors. Joseph and Jill activated the bombs. They threw several grenades into the hall. They rushed to the side corridors at full speed. Moments later, there was a huge explosion. The building shook violently, but it lasted. My whole body ached and the places where his paws burned were very painful. Harry and Stefan helped me out of the building. The sun had set and it was half dark. I lay down in the back seat of the car. Sarah and Stefan got in the car with me. Finally, we arrived at the store. Elizabeth's arms and legs were broken at the hip and shoulder joints. John took off her top. Elizabeth always wore a t-shirt under her clothes. They made her lie on the floor in an open-backed position. Jill asked Sarah to find a sheet or a long, thick cloth. She found one and gave it to Jill. Jill rolled up the cloth and passed it under her armpit. She asked John to hold the ends of the cloth tightly. The others held her. She grabbed her wrist with both hands and pulled it towards her in one motion. There was a loud snap. They did the same with the other hand. She put her foot back in place with John's help. Sarah sat next to her. Jill came to me and said, "It's your turn. Take off your clothes." I took off my clothes with difficulty. Her paw had traced lines all over my body. She rubbed the alcohol-soaked cotton over the wounds. I groaned from the burning of the alcohol. Jill said, "Hold on. It's not too deep and fortunately it's not pus." He covered my face with a bandage and wrapped the bandage tape over it and around my body and then tightened it. He also gave me some antibiotic and pus-drying tablets to take. Then he said, "Rest a little." I asked, "How is Elizabeth?" "She endured terrible pain. She is unconscious for now." "Those damn people. How did they make such things? Now those monsters have become a scourge on our own lives, not terrorists and criminals." Jill said, "The boomerang they made and released for their enemies is now coming back to haunt them. They are keeping themselves out of harm's way. And it is these people who must pay the price for their ambition and self-interest."